We're going to cover the Yankees, and we're going to cover the Mets. That's why we have Heyman on at 1:30, because he's been all over Port St. Lucie for the New York Post. And I made some phone calls yesterday regarding what scouts are seeing in Tampa for Yankee spring training. And I got some interesting things that these people told me. Let's start with George Lombard Jr. So everybody's dreaming big right now because Lombard looks really, really good. Now, he's 19 years old. He's a first-round draft pick for the Yankees. He has DNA in the major leagues. His dad is a bench coach. He was a 6-year major leaguer for the he's a bench coach for the Tigers, but he was a 6-year major leaguer, kind of bounced around. So the kid's been around baseball, and he looks stronger than he did last year. He's hit a couple of home runs. According to a couple of scouts that I spoke to, he's a plus defender. Right now, today, on March 5th, he could play Major League shortstop. That's how good he is. Right now, today, he could play Major League second base. And right now, today, he could play Major League third base. Not just serviceably, but at a high plus defensive level. That's how good he is. Great feet, great range, really good arm. One scout told me he is the equal defensively to Anthony Volpe right now. And Anthony Volpe's a Gold Glove winner 2 years ago. So to say he's the equal and he's 19 years old, that's pretty darn good. Now, he's not taking Anthony Volpe's job. He might end up at third base maybe sometime next year. So the people I spoke to, I said, is there any chance, because the Yankees usually don't do stuff like this, is there any chance that he can make the team at 19? Because they need a third baseman, right? And the answer was not likely. He's not going to start the year with the team. In all likelihood, he will not be called up at any point this year. But he is so good, and he's on the come, that he could actually show up in 2026. Don't know if he'd start the year with them, but he could show up sometime during 2026 as a 20-year-old. That's how good he is. That's how good he is. So everybody getting excited about George Lombard Jr. The people I spoke to said, get excited. He's the real deal. So then I started to sniff around, speaking about young players, because we've been getting a lot of phone calls of late. You know, the Yankees, why don't they use Spencer Jones? And I keep saying he's not ready. Now, I haven't been down there. I've watched the games on TV that Yes has. But I want to see, because his numbers are really good in spring training. Has he closed up the hole in a swing? Because if you look at his numbers in the minors last year, wow, a lot of swing and miss ability in there. Almost half the at-bats he struck out. And one scout told me, no, he's still the same. He still has holes to close up. He is probably not a viable option for the Yankees in 2025. He's got a world of physical talent. He's got speed. He could play center field with anybody. He could steal 40 bases if he could get on enough. Now, he's got power when he runs into the ball, but he doesn't run into the ball enough. So probably not an option for this year. All right? So that's Spencer Jones, and we'll see if he's an option ever. If he's an option ever. We're not quite sure. So the one question I've had throughout the spring, and I've articulated on the show a lot, I don't get the Yankees playing Jason Dominguez in left field. I don't get it. Why wouldn't you have him be comfortable and have him play center field, where he's played center field for most of his minor league career? So when I made these phone calls yesterday, I said, I got to find out, because Boone's not explaining it to me. He keeps saying, I don't want to mess around when we play Trent Grisham. And, okay, that doesn't sound to me copacetic, but that's the public stance that he's taken, which doesn't make any sense, because I think it's so important for this guy to be the real deal offensively for the Yankees that you want to make him comfortable. Well, I spoke to somebody who actually covered him in the minor leagues. I told you I made a lot of phone calls. And the answer shocked me. And he said to me, are you an idiot? That was to me. And I mean, I've been asked that a lot in my life. And I said, what do you mean, am I an idiot? He can't play center either. What? Yeah, he's not a good center fielder. So what you see in left, it's the same thing you're going to see in center. So the Yankees obviously have to make a decision. What's more important for them? To have a plus defender in center or a plus defender in left? And they're choosing center, who's covering both of the gaps. Now, at Yankee Stadium, the left fielder is a little bit more important than at, let's say, Fenway or Minute Maid Park or whatever the case may be, where they have short left fields. But they'd much rather have a big-time center fielder like a Grisham or a Bellinger, who's really good out there, than they would putting the kid. He's just not a good outfielder right now. And so I asked this person who's seen him in the minors, I said, if he's such a good player offensively, why is he so bad defensively? And the answer was, he's been hurt so much in his 6 years in the minor league system. He's constantly hurt. He has not gotten the reps. This doesn't mean he's going to be a bad outfielder his entire life, but right now, he's not a good outfielder. He's not a good outfielder in left, and he would not be a good outfielder in center. Doesn't matter that he's played more games in center. So when they talk about, well, there's a long runway here, they could change, then I don't think they're going to change. He's going to play left field. He's going to play left field because they don't want a negative defender in center. They don't. So that was illuminating for me. That was pretty interesting. Now, in terms of who's going to be the DH, a lot of people have been impressed so far this year, or spring training, with Ben Rice. He's stronger. They like his swing. They've always liked his patience at the plate. So in all likelihood, starting the season, Ben Rice is going to be your DH, at least against righties. Against lefties, they've got decisions to make. Maybe they have Trent Grisham play center field and move Bellinger over to right and have Judge be the DH. And the people I also spoke to, some within the Yankee organization, they don't think that Stanton is a complete bust all year. They think that he could be back. They think it's going to be a couple of months, and then he's going to be a player for them. So that's why they're not going out and making that seminal deal to bring in a DH type of player like a J.D. Martinez, because they think that Stanton's going to be back. And they're just taking it on the slow roll. They're just taking it on the slow roll. But Ben Rice is going to be on this team, in all likelihood, as the left-handed DH coming out of spring training. Good reports from these scouts on Goldschmidt, who had a home run yesterday in Clearwater. He looks really good. People are raving about how Volpe looks offensively and the way Wells looks offensively. And they expect big things out of them offensively this year, which the Yankees need. Because one thing you look at with this Yankee team, let's be honest, they don't have any depth. So there's not much after this. And especially the injury to Stanton, it hurts. It hurts. Pitching looks good. Fried's good. Rodon looks good. Garrett Cole looks sharp. They think Clark Schmidt's going to be ready for his first start, despite the cranky back that kept him out for a little bit. And there's no guarantee, by the way, just because of the injury to heel, that Marcus Stroman is definitely going to be the fifth starter. So he's still a trade possibility for the Yankees to get rid of some of that salary. Still a trade possibility. Now you look at it this way. If he's traded, though, then who's your fifth starter? Because Heel's out at least 3 months. At least. Best case scenario, he gets back in July. Best case. If there's nothing else wrong. If it's just the lat, then it's going to be a 3-month situation. If it's more than the lat, then it's going to be all year. But they're leaning toward it just being the lat. They like Will Warren a lot. Despite struggling last year in the big leagues, they like Will Warren. They like what they see. They also like Carlos Carrasco. They think that those guys could serve for half a season as the fifth starter. So, is it going to be Stroman? I guess it would be Stroman if they can't move him. But because of the injury to Heel, that does not preclude them from moving Stroman to get out from under that money.